Massive and organized human rights violation happened during July genocide, says Volker Turk while presenting a report in Geneva.
It's a huge chance for the country at this pivotal time to deal with its past, to overcome its past, to reach a moment of healing and truth-telling, and that includes each and everyone within the society of Bangladesh.
Hasina will be tried for crimes against humanity, chief advisor in an interview with Sky News.
The oligarchs, people who promoted her, supported her, made her the way she is. Legally, they are required to send her to Bangladesh. I think it's international law will guide that decision.
Former U.S. diplomats William B. Milam and John F. Danilowicz's visit International Crimes Tribunal expressed willingness to help the court. International Crimes Tribunal set June 15 as deadline for submitting the probe report against 5 former police personnel for killing college student Ridoy on August 5. Chief Advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus made directives for reforming labour law maintaining international standard. Outgoing education advisor brings good news for teachers under MPO benefits increasing from Eid al-Azha. Donald Trump imposes reciprocal tariffs on India and other countries from April 2. South Africa batting with victory target of 363 runs against New Zealand in ICC Champions Trophy. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10. I am Roya Zabin. You have just heard the headlines. Now news in details. Security forces were involved in serious human rights violation during July-August upsurge in Bangladesh, says UN High Commissioner Volker Turk. High Commissioner Volker Turk was addressing on the occasion of release of a report on Bangladesh by the UN Human Rights Office. Volker Turk said security forces were involved in hundreds of extrajudicial killings, extensive arbitrary arrests and detentions and torture. These were carried out with the directives of the political leadership, he added.
It's a huge chance for the country at this pivotal time to deal with its past, to overcome its past, to reach a moment of healing and truth-telling, and that includes each and everyone within the society of Bangladesh. I think all of us have to support, because it is meant from the perspective of anchoring human rights very much in the governance of the future of the country. And that's a unique opportunity for each and every citizen of Bangladesh, irrespective of, they belong to whatever group or community. And that's really, I think, one of the big hopes that we have on the human rights.
Law advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul, now in Geneva, shared with the audience that the interim government of Bangladesh is determined to conduct a fair trial of all killings committed during July-August upsurge. Dr. Asif lauded UN Human Rights Commission for the investigative report.
Be it at the CHT area, be it at any other places, and we have already formed a commission which will work on the local government issue. Third thing is, working with UNHCR, CHR, of course, we are looking forward to that. We have already agreed a draft text, and I think we could go a long way to work together, and we are deeply grateful to OHCHR for that.
Today we stand as one family, united in our demand for justice. Being Bangladesh, a peaceful nation itself, never expected its own citizens to be killed by those meant to protect them.
Civil society leaders from Bangladesh were present on the occasion. Former U.S. diplomats William B. Milam and John Danny Lovies visited the International Crimes Tribunal in the morning today. During the visit, they held a meeting with the tribunal's chief prosecutor, Tajul Islam. At that time, special consultant to the chief prosecutor, Toby Cadman, was present. After the meeting, the two former U.S. diplomats left the tribunal at around 12:15. Later, Chief Prosecutor Tajul Islam briefed journalists and said the two former U.S. diplomats have apprised of the progress of the tribunal. The former U.S. diplomats have assured of providing all kinds of cooperation involving information. As many as 5 policemen, including one former OC, have been produced before the International Crimes Tribunal today on charges of killing college student Hridoy Khan in Kapashia of Ghazipur during the July-August uprising last year. They are former OC of Kapashia K.M. Ashraf Uddin, Inspector Shofikul Islam, Constables Akram Hussain, Mohammad Fahim Hassan and Mohammad Mahmudul Hassan. Later, Chief Prosecutor Tajul Islam briefed journalists and said 1 out of 6 accused in Hridoy Khan murder case in Kapashia of Ghazipur is absconding. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has said ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will stand trial for crimes against humanity. In an interview to UK-based Sky News on Wednesday, the Chief Advisor said a trial will be taking place. Not only Sheikh Hasina, but also all the people who are associated with her family members, her clients or associates. Bangladesh has issued 2 arrest warrants for her. Professor Yunus said they had sent formal letters but received no official response from New Delhi. He insisted, however, that Hasina would face the court whether physically present in Bangladesh or in absentia in India.
Not if it will be happening in absentia or in her presence. It will be taking place, not only her, and all the people who were associated with her family members, her clans, her associates, and all the oligarchs, people who promoted her, supported her, made her the way she is. Legally, they are required to send her to Bangladesh. I think it's international law will guide that decision. We have sent formal letters, so not conversations, but formal letters to make sure that is understood.
Speaking to Sky News about the House of Mirrors, the chief advisor said horrendous human rights violations happened in the House of Mirrors. They are not open to the public as they are within the law enforcement area. The House of Mirrors will be converted into museums, the chief advisor said.
In a situation like that, when you see things and you've been hearing about it, you've met those people who suffered through those most heinous thing you can imagine a human being can do to another human being. It's just the ugliest thing that you can see, you can feel, you can observe. This is within the police territory or army territory, so they have not opened it to the public yet because this will create a bad response from the army and so on. Those kind of fear that the public gets into the cantonment area where they live, the army people live. So they are restricting those areas, but we have decided to make it a museum so that public can come in.
Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus asked the officials concerned to reform the labour law of the country to meet international standards for improving the living conditions of millions of labourers employed in different sectors of the country. The Chief Advisor gave the directive during a meeting with the officials of the Labour and Employment Ministry at the State Guest House Jamuna today ahead of the 353rd session of the International Labour Organization to be held in Geneva between March 10 and 20. The Chief Advisor asked the officials to ensure insurance coverage and healthcare benefits for the workers of Bangladesh's in labour sector. Special envoy to the Chief Advisor Lutfi Siddiqui joined the meeting virtually. Labour and Employment Ministry Advisor M. Shakhawat Hussain, Secretary AHM Shafiquzzaman, Law and Justice Division Secretary Sheikh Abu Tahir and ILO Country Representative Tuomo Putianen were present at the meeting. Newly appointed advisor of the interim government, Professor Dr. Chaudhry Rafiqul Abrar, took oath today. The oath-taking ceremony was held at Darbar Hall of Bongo Bhawan this morning. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus attended the function. President Mohammad Shahabuddin administered the oath to the new advisor.
শপথ করিতেছি যে
আমি
আইন অনুযায়ী
অন্তর্বর্তীকালীন সরকারের
উপদেষ্টা পদের
কর্তব্য বিশ্বস্ততার সহিত পালন করিব। আমি সংবিধানের রক্ষণ সমর্থন ও নিরাপত্তা বিধান করিব এবং আমি ভীতি বা অনুগ্রহ অনুরাগ বা বিরাগের বশবর্তী না হইয়া সকলের প্রতি আইন অনুযায়ী যথাবিহিত আচরণ করিব।
After the swearing-in, the new advisor signed the oath of office. Advisors of the interim government and high military and civil officials were present. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rashid conducted the oath-taking ceremony. Various initiatives have been taken across the country to ease the hardships of lower and middle-income people due to rising commodity prices. Most of the organizers and entrepreneurs of these efforts are young volunteers. One such initiative in the capital is attracting the low-income people at a Indira Road shop. Daily essentials are available at affordable prices in this shop. Organizers said that they bypass middlemen and bring agricultural products directly from farmers and sell these directly to consumers. They also make a profit from this process. Customers acknowledge that just outside the sales center, roadside shops sell the same products at higher prices. But they can get pure products at lower prices from this center. Farmers are receiving fair prices for the goods they produce as a result of these initiatives, and consumers can buy at reduced prices. Customers are pleased with this alternative marketing strategy. They also said that the people would benefit from the expansion of this initiative. The volume of remittance being sent by the expatriate Bangladeshis is continuously on the rise. They are sending their hard-earned money to Bangladesh through legal channels, largely after the fall of the fascist Sheikh Hasina. As a result, the forex reserve of the country is being consolidated. At the moment, the reserve in the country has stood at $21 billion again. The volume of the forex reserve in Bangladesh is fluctuating to $20 billion in the past several months after the fall of the fascist government. Bangladesh received 252 crore and $80 lakh of remittance through legal channels last month. The amount is equal to 31,094 crore taka. The volume of remittance in February marked 25% growth compared to last year's February. In February 2024, the country received $202 crore of remittance. According to Bangladesh Bank data, the country received 1,849 crore as remittance in 8 months between July and February of the current 2024-25 fiscal year. The volume is 23.80% higher than the previous fiscal year. Education advisor Wahid Uddin Mahmood informed that allowances including festival, recreation and housing rent will be increased for the teachers under MPO non-government teachers and employees from Eid al-Azha. He said this at a reception at Education Ministry conference room at the Secretariat today. The program was organized marking the joining of new education advisor Professor Chaudhry Rafiqul Abrar. The advisor mentioned that deprivation of the last 15 years cannot be met in 1 year's budget. He further said that the government is also working to equal the salary of the MPO-listed non-government educational institutions with that of the government institutions. The outgoing advisor said a fund is being formed for the teachers' retirement and welfare. Senior officials of the Education Ministry were present. U.S. President Donald Trump criticized the high tariffs charged by India and other countries, including China, calling it very unfair and announcing reciprocal tariffs will kick in from next month. In his address to a joint session of the U.S. Congress, the president said that the reciprocal tariffs will commence on April 2. The other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico and Canada, have you heard of them, and countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair, President Trump said on Tuesday night. President Trump's address to the joint session of the Congress on Tuesday was the first of his second term in the White House. On January 20, he was sworn in as the 47th President of the U.S. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%, he continued. In February, President Trump has said that his administration will soon impose reciprocal tariffs on countries such as India and China, reiterating what he had said during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the U.S. Capitol last month. President Trump has made it clear to Prime Minister Modi that India will not be spared from Washington's reciprocal tariffs and emphasized that nobody can argue with me on tariff structure. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday he received a letter from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in which the Ukrainian leader expressed willingness to come to the negotiating table over the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring the lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, Trump said in an address to Congress on Tuesday while quoting from the letter. Trump also said he had been in serious discussions with Russia and had received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful, he said. It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Trump was expected to further outline his plans for Ukraine and Russia in the speech to Congress, but did not reveal any further details on how he plans to end Europe's biggest conflict since World War II. Trump said Ukraine was ready to sign a minerals deal with the U.S., which Washington says is crucial to secure continued U.S. backing for Ukraine's defense. 4 sources told newsmen that the Trump administration and Ukraine plan to sign the deal in return for military aid, which Trump has paused. But later on Tuesday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox News there is no signing planned, according to a post on X by a Fox reporter. Trump gave no further details on the minerals deal, leaving its fate unclear. Earlier on Tuesday, Zelensky pledged to repair relations with the U.S. after what he described as a regrettable Oval Office clash with Trump last week. Arab leaders adopted an Egyptian reconstruction plan for Gaza on Tuesday that would cost $53 billion and avoid displacing Palestinians from the enclave, in contrast to U.S. President Donald Trump's Middle East Riviera vision. The White House said the plan adopted by Arab states did not address Gaza's reality and that Trump stood by his proposal. Trump's plan to displace Palestinians in a U.S. takeover of the enclave received global condemnation last month and echoed long-standing Palestinian fears of being permanently driven from their homes. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said the Egyptian proposal welcomed in subsequent statements by Hamas and criticized by Israel and the US had been accepted at the closing of a summit in Cairo. Sisi said at the summit that he was certain Trump would be able to achieve peace as the Gaza Strip has been left devastated by Israel's military assault. The major questions that need to be answered about Gaza's future are who will run the enclave and which countries will provide the billions of dollars needed for reconstruction. Sisi said Egypt has worked in cooperation with Palestinians on creating an administrative committee of independent professional Palestinian technocrats entrusted with the governance of Gaza after the end of the Israel-Gaza war. The committee will be responsible for the oversight of humanitarian aid and managing the Strip's affairs for a temporary period in separation for the return of the Palestinian Authority, he said. The other critical issue is the fate of the Palestinian militant group Hamas, the PS rival whose October 7, 2023 attack on Israel killed 1,200 people, with more than 250 taken as hostages, according to Israeli tallies. The attack was followed by Israel's military assault on Gaza that killed more than 48,000 Palestinians, according to the local health ministry. The assault has also displaced nearly Gaza's entire population and led to accusations of genocide and war crimes that Israel denies. A pair of suicide bombers drove two explosive-filled vehicles into a security installation in northwestern Pakistan on Tuesday, killing at least 12 civilians, including 7 children, police and rescue services said. The explosion brought down the roof of a nearby mosque soon after residents had broken their Ramadan fast and the local market was teeming with shoppers, a military official said, asking not to be identified. The official said more militants had tried to enter the military facility after the blast, but the attempt was foiled by security forces. 6 militants were killed in an exchange of fire, the official said. Banu Hospital spokesperson Mohammad Noman said 12 people were killed and 30 wounded in the attack, adding that they were all civilians who had been caught under collapsed buildings and walls. At least 7 children were among those killed, a hospital list showed. The local rescue 1122 service said it was searching for more casualties under the debris of the collapsed buildings. Video footage from the scene showed residents sifting through piles of bricks and clearing metal scaffolding amid the wreckage. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned the attack and said the evil ambitions of the enemies of Pakistan will never be allowed to succeed. It was not immediately clear who was behind the attack. Attacks by the Pakistani Taliban Islamist militant group have risen in recent years against Pakistani police and military in areas near the Afghan border. Ali Amin Gandapur, the chief minister for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the border province where the explosion took place, condemned the incident and said he had sought a report from senior police officials on the blast. Russia's President Vladimir Putin hailed expanding ties with ally Myanmar at talks with its military junta chief on Tuesday and thanked him for gifting Moscow 6 elephants. Military analysts have dubbed the present coincided with Russia's completing delivery of 6 fighter jets to Myanmar as part of elephant diplomacy between two governments viewed dimly in Western capitals. Myanmar has been in turmoil since 2021 when its military ousted the administration of Nobel Peace Prize winner leader Aung San Suu Kyi, triggering a civil war. This year we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration on the Foundations of Friendship between our countries, Putin told Min Aung Hlaing, Myanmar's Prime Minister, at a meeting in the Kremlin. Relations between our countries are indeed developing steadily, he added, noting bilateral trade rose 40% last year. The two sides signed an agreement on construction of a small-scale nuclear plant in Myanmar. Rosatom, Russia's state nuclear power corporation, said the plant would have a capacity of 100 megawatts with the possibility of trebling that capacity. Putin also announced that a military unit from Myanmar would take part in the military parade in Moscow on May 9, marking the 80th anniversary of the World War II victory over Nazi Germany. He said Min Hong Leung would also attend. Like China, Russia backs Myanmar's military and is developing cooperation, including between their air forces. Coming back to national news, there is no relation between Sheikh Hasina's trial and the election. The elected government will also be pledge-bound to hold trial of Awami League criminals, including Hasina. BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khosru Mahmood Chaudhry told this to newsmen after a roundtable discussion at a hotel in the capital today, organized by Bangladesh Shipbreakers and Recyclers Association, BSBR. He further said that not only Sheikh Hasina, rather the rest of the criminals of Awami League will also have to be brought under trial. AB Party General Secretary Asaduzzaman Fuad and Norwegian Ambassador to Bangladesh Hakon Harald Gulbrandsen spoke at the program. An earthquake was felt across various parts of the country, including the capital, Dhaka, at 11:36 a.m. today. According to the Bangladesh Meteorological Department, BMT, the tremor originated near the India-Myanmar border, approximately 149 kilometers from Dhaka. The magnitude at the epicenter was recorded at 5.6, classifying it as a moderate earthquake. As of now, no reports of damage or casualties have been received. However, this marks the fourth earthquake in different parts of the country within the last 10 days. Now the timing for Sehri tonight and Thursday's Iftar for Dhaka and its adjoining areas. Last time for Sehri is 5 a.m. and Thursday's Iftar is at 6:04 p.m. in Dhaka and its adjoining areas. Now some weather updates. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country. Night and day temperature may fall slightly over the country. Country's lowest temperature was recorded today 12.5 degrees Celsius at Rajarhat and highest temperature was in Sitakundo at 34.5 degrees Celsius. Capital Dhaka's lowest temperature was recorded 22.4 degrees Celsius and highest temperature was 31.6 degrees Celsius. Now news on sports. South Africa are now batting against New Zealand with a high victory target of 363 runs in the second semi-final, and Glenn Phillips both scored 49 and remained not out. Star Australian batsman Steven Smith announced his retirement from one-day international cricket today. The 35-year-old Sydney-born batsman took the decision of quitting the ODI arena after Australia's 4-wicket loss in the ICC Champions Trophy semi-final against India, Dubai on Tuesday. However, he expressed his desire to continue his Test and T20 career. Now is a great opportunity for people to start preparing for the 2027 World Cup, so it feels like the right time to make way, said in a statement to Cricket Australia. Smith made his ODI debut in 2010 and played 170 ODIs, scoring 5,800 runs with 12 centuries and 35 half-centuries. He was also part of the Australia's 2015 and 2023 World Cup winning teams. Now to end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Massive and organized human rights violation happened during July genocide, says Volker Turk while presenting a report in Geneva. Hasina will be tried for crimes against humanity, chief advisor in an interview with Sky News. Former U.S. diplomats William B. Milam and John F. Danilowitz visits International Crimes Tribunal, expressed willingness to help the court. International Crimes Tribunal set June 15 as deadline for submitting the probe report against 5 former police personnel for killing college student Hridoy on August 5. Chief Advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus made directives for reforming labour law, maintaining international standard. Outgoing education advisor brings good news for teachers under MPO benefits increasing from Eid al-Azha. Donald Trump imposes reciprocal tariffs on India and other countries from April 2. South Africa batting with victory target of 363 runs against New Zealand in ICC Champions Trophy. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us.